How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to an episode here on Let's Build Twitter. As always, I'm Ethan, or Unknown Coder, your favorite underqualified senior software engineer. And as always, if you guys don't want access to that private repository for this project, there's a link in the description down below that'll walk through exactly how to gain access to that. And once again, I please ask you guys to bear with me here as we are doing the refactoring. There's going to be a lot of changes. There could be bugs that pop up as I'm trying to fix things because I don't put things in the right spot. So it may take me a little bit of time to debug and stuff inside the episodes, unfortunately. That's just how it's going to be. So with that being said, let's go and hop into what we're working on today. So once again, I don't know exactly how much we're going to get done today, but we're going to go ahead and make it so whenever we click on this guy, the reply restriction should go ahead and pop up again. Then after we get the reply restrictions done, we're going to go ahead and work on getting our images. So whenever we click on this guy, they actually go in there. Right now, if we put an image in there, it's not going to do anything. So we'll see how far we get. There's quite a bit of work to do with images, so we might not get through all of it today in about 30 minutes. But with that being said, let's go and hop into code and get to work here. Today, we need to go ahead and start out inside of our FeedUtils. Inside of our FeedUtils, we need to go ahead and update this getReplyDropdown button. So instead of it being a state, post-slice state, this is actually going to go ahead and be restriction. And this is going to be reply restrictions instead. And now we're going to go ahead and just put restriction here, and it should work the exact same as we were just switching on state.restriction. So that should clean that up quite a bit. Now with that being done, let's go and hop into our FeedPostReplyRestrictionDropdown. Inside our dropdown, let's go ahead and make some changes. We're going to go ahead and change this from this state to CreatePostDTO. So let's go ahead and delete this. And this is going to go ahead and be CreatePostDTO. It's going to be equal to use selector once again. So be state root state, and then here we'll go ahead and have state.post v2. Now this is going to be mad at us. That's fine. So now what we want to go ahead and do is come down here. So whenever we handle selection change, we're going to go ahead and actually dispatch something else. Let's go ahead and delete this. Now we're going to go ahead and dispatch update post state. Let's go ahead and fix this up, and let's also remember to add in that other parenthesis there. So now our property is going to go ahead and be reply restriction, maybe reply restriction, and then the value will go ahead and be e.currentTarget.id.to uppercase. And that should be fine. So now let's go ahead and fix that up. And then now obviously the reply drop down needs to be the restriction. So now this will go ahead and be CreatePostDTO.reply restriction like that. And that should be fine. I don't know why it's mad at us. Did I spell CreatePostDTO incorrectly or something? Something's up here. So let's just see create. There it goes. Okay, cool. So that should be good. Now the part that I'm not looking forward to, we need to go through and basically refactor our entire post image and all of that stuff. So now let's go ahead and hop into our FeedPostCreatorImage. So there's a lot of work to do around these images. So first off, we're going to go ahead and add to our props here. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this at the bottom, and this is going to go ahead and be index is a number like so. Then we're going to go ahead and come into here, and we're going to make sure to add in that index. So here I just put it first, doesn't really matter. This is so that later on, whenever we're editing images and whatnot, we can actually mess with it. Here we're going to go ahead and change our state. So now this is going to go ahead and be CreatePostDTO. So const create post maybe goodness post DTO is equal to use selector, and here we'll say state root state, and this will be state dot and then post v2. And hopefully I don't miss anything here. So I basically wrote the entire dang thing in here. So we still need our dispatch. Remove image is going to be slightly different. So inside of remove image, we're going to go ahead and check the type. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's just get rid of this. And here we're going to say if type is equal to GIF, and let me make sure we do this properly. GIF or type is equal to image/GIF equal to, and I don't really know which one we end up using here, but it is what it is, image/GIF. If that's the case, we're going to go ahead and dispatch, instead of update current post, we're going to go ahead and dispatch update post date. So update post date. And then here we're going to go ahead and pass in the property will be GIF. And then the value will be undefined like so. And then otherwise, we're going to go ahead and we're still going to have filtered images. But now there's going to be a post image array. And here, instead of saying state.post current post images dot filter, we're going to go ahead and say our create post DTO dot images dot filter image. And this is going to be, instead of any, this is going to be I of post image. And then this is going to be if image name is not equal to that. That should be fine. We accidentally deleted our equal sign, so let's go ahead and fix that. That should be fine now. The only thing is, obviously, I renamed this to I instead of image, so that's fine. That's whatever. And then here, update current post images. We need to go ahead and update post state now. So dispatch, and now this would be update post state. And here we'll have our property will be equal to images, and then let's make sure we actually put that inside quotes. There we go. That'll be images, and then value will equal to our filtered images. So we go ahead and pass that in, and hopefully this stops being mad at me. We'll give it a second. I don't know. This should be I.image name. Image name is equal to name, not equal to name. There we go. So there is that. And now we need to do some more fun stuff. I don't know if we want to do all of this right now, but we're going to do it anyway. So function get dimensions. This is going to be for whenever we go through and actually start editing. I will be a string, and this will return a promise of a width, which is a number, and a height, which is a number. Not number. There we go. Then set up this function. We're going to return a new promise, and this is going to have resolve and reject. I don't think we ever use reject, but it is what it is. We're going to set up a new promise. Inside here, we're going to say const img is equal to a new image, and we're going to load in the image that we're trying to edit. So img.src is equal to the image that we passed in. Image.onLoad, we're going to set up a function, and in here we're going to go ahead and say resolve. Once the image is loaded, we're going to resolve our width is img.width, and our height is img.height. And this is so we can go ahead and set up our edit image here, and hopefully, fingers crossed, yep, we're fine. Now instead of edit image, we are still gonna like display post image whatever, but what we need to go ahead and do is we need to say if our type is not equal to GIF, and our type is not equal to image/GIF. If it's a GIF, we can't edit it, so we don't want to pop this up. But if that's the case, we're going to say let, and we'll have our width and our height, and we need to actually make this async. Jumping around a little bit here, but let width and our height equal to, and this is going to be await get dimensions. And this is going to go ahead and pass in our image. So I think that we need to bring this in, or do we have image? Let's see. We pass it in. That is completely fine. Perfect. So we need to go ahead and do that. And then what we're going to go ahead and do, and we're going to update the configure modal. So we'll need to go through and do that. That one kind of slipped through the cracks. We'll let our preview height equal to, and then 468 for the time being. Let preview width equal to, and once again 468, and then we're going to say let ratio equal to 0 for the time being. We'll have if our width is greater than our height. Maybe if this is the case, we're going to say ratio is equal to width divided by height, and our preview height will be equal to 468 divided by ratio, and that should be fine, I believe. And then otherwise, what we're going to go ahead and do is ratio will be equal to height divided by width, and then this is going to be preview and width is equal to 468 divided by our ratio. For the time being, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ignore the index, and I'll try to remember to come back through and add it. So dispatch and configure modal, because right now we're not actually worried about editing the images. We're just kind of setting up this new logic in here. So image, our target is going to be edit and we don't have this set up either. So really, we should probably wait on actually dispatching edits. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm just going to go ahead and comment this out and say that we need to do this whenever we come back to actually editing. So there's a bunch of stuff we still need to set up inside of the edit, whatever. So I'm just going to say set up when we are ready to edit images, because there's a lot of stuff in here that needs to wait. So I kind of got ahead of myself there. So now we just need to make a couple of changes in here. I believe we have our FeedPostCreatorImage div. I basically just copy and paste this entire thing, so I don't know what's actually changed here. So let me see. So we still have our FeedPostCreatorImage. We have our style. That's fine. On click, we're going to change. So here we're going to go ahead and say display close icon question mark. If that's the case, we're going to go ahead and have our edit image. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to do anything. So if it is inside of a post on the feed, we won't display it. Otherwise, we will. And then also, this is broken. So this would be if type is equal to this or type is equal to this. We want to go ahead and do that. And we actually need to change this a little bit. So we also need to do this. And this is going to have a div, the class name equal to feed dash post creator, like a type dash gif. And then in here we'll go ahead, and this is going to be a little bit funky. I'm going to say gif, and then otherwise we're going to have nothing, like so. And then we're going to go ahead and wrap this, and this is going to go ahead and say display, and then close icon question mark, and then otherwise it'll be nothing once again. And this part's probably going to be broken, I would imagine. So this is going to be fun to debug really quickly, but hopefully it's not too bad. Let's see here. So we have our type equal to gif. We need to actually do this question mark this, and then what we need to go ahead and do is this should be wrapped like so. So let's go ahead and do this, and I think that might fix it. Let's see. Go ahead and style that a little bit. Cool. So if it's a GIF, we'll go ahead and display GIF. If it's not a GIF, we'll display edit. And if display close icon is not null or not false, we'll also display edit. So I believe that might be everything inside of our FeedPostCreatorImage. So now let's go ahead and set up some styles inside of here to fix this up. So now let's go ahead and go down. It says to about line 39. So inside of here, we're just going to go ahead and change this from bottom to top. So top 8px, and it's going to be left. They actually changed where this is located. And then we're going to go ahead and go below our FeedPostCreatorImage hover. We're going to have feed-postCreator-image-gif. Hopefully I spelled that properly. We'll take a double look. Position will be absolute. And then we'll go ahead, and I spelled position wrong, I think. Yep. Okay. Position is absolute. Display will be flex. We'll go ahead and justify content in the center. We'll align items in the center, and we'll have a padding of about 2px. 8px is what I thought looked pretty good. Of a border dash radius of about 4 pixels. Of a background, back, maybe ground dash color, and this is going to be RGBA of 0, 0, 0, 0, and this will be 0.75, and then a bottom of 8px, and then a left of 8px. And I think, nope, that should be fine. I was gonna say I think we broke it, but I think it's okay. We'll see. And then finally we'll have a color of white, of a font dash size of 14px, and finally a font dash weight of 600. Now at this point, we aren't going to be able to see anything yet because we still need to set up some stuff, I believe. So we need to first go into our FeedUtils once again and update our createImage container. So inside of our FeedUtils, let's go down to our createImage container. Here we are. So yeah, so this is now broken. So we need to go ahead and fix these up. So now we're going to have image, comma, IDX, like so. And we also need to go ahead and come up here. So we're going to go ahead and change this guy to be images. And instead of a file, this is going to be a post image array, or it's going to be undefined, or like if it's a post or a GIF or something. So if our images images are equal to undefined. Undefined, we're going to go ahead and return an empty fragment. So that'll deal with that. And then here, we no longer need this guy. So let's go ahead and get rid of that. And then in here, we need obviously the IDX. So index will equal to our IDX. Our URL is going to equal to image.image URL. Our image name will be image.image, image name. The type will be image.image type. Our key will be image.image. I believe we put name in this, and then close icon will be true. And then once again, what we're going to go ahead and do here is we're going to change this a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of this. We're going to say let mapped images equal to, and then images.map. It's going to be basically the same thing we did before, image IDX. And then we're going to go ahead and do this. And here, we're just going to go ahead and have return FeedPostCreatorImage. And then we'll have our index is equal to our IDX. We'll go ahead and have our image is equal to image.image URL. We'll have our name equal to image.image name. We'll have our type is equal to image.image type. Have our key equal to image.image name. And then we'll have our display close icon equal to true. Let's go ahead and close this guy like so. And then what we want to go ahead and do is we want to reverse this now. So now we'll go ahead and say let reversed equal to mapped images dot reverse. And then we'll go ahead and return that. So now inside of our return, we're still going to have our div with like our container on and everything. But in here, we're going to go ahead and just return reverse. So let's go ahead and delete all of this, and we'll just go ahead and have reversed, and that is good to go. And then finally, we also need to do the same thing here. So FeedPostCreatorImage, we have our IDX is going to be equal to, or actually we spell index here. Index will be equal to IDX. Actually, I think this one we just put 0. Yep, and then here we'll go ahead and say images 0. Go and get rid of this. Images 0, and then dot image URL. Here we'll say images 0 dot image, image, and then name. Images 0 dot image type, and then that rest of that should be fine. We don't need a key on that one. There we go. And then we also need to go ahead and update the one down here. We won't see this one yet, but this is going to be the same idea. So here, once again, we'll have IDX, or index is equal to IDX. Here, we don't need to change anything else because this already has in a post image. I don't think we need to add in checking for anything else. So that one's fine. Once again, here, we're going to do the same thing. So here, we're just going to go ahead and add IDX. The reason why the other one matters is because whenever we click edit, we need to know the true index of it. So here, we don't care. So I just cheated a little bit. And then finally, we just need to add the index here. So index equal to 0. That should go ahead and fix that up. Now all we need to go ahead and do is update a couple more things. We also are going to go ahead and update this display tag people. So now instead of taking in a post slice state, that's going to take in a post slice v2 state, and let's go ahead and import that. I might not have exported it. Let's check our slice. Let's make sure we actually export this. I did not. Let's go ahead and export interface plus slice v2. Let's hop back into the FeedUtils. So inside the FeedUtils, let's go and import this. Okay, so now we need to make some changes in here. So first, we're going to go and check to see if our GIF is undefined. So let's just go ahead and delete all of this, and it's going to delete my parenthesis because it's annoying, but it is fine. So here, we're going to go ahead and say if state.gif is not equal to undefined, then we need to figure out what type of GIF it is. So now we're going to go ahead and have another if. So if, and then here we're going to say state.gif, the image URL, and then question mark. I don't know why we need the question mark there. We know it's there, but whatever. To lowercase, and this is going to be dot includes, dot includes, and we're going to go ahead and see if it includes tenor. If that's the case, we're going to go ahead and return this guy. Let's go ahead and copy this like so, paste it in there, make that pretty. And then otherwise, we'll go ahead and return nothing basically. And then we're going to go ahead and get this one. Let's delete this. I think that's what we want to do. And then otherwise, we're just going to go ahead and return tag people. So that should be good. I don't know if we really want to return that because I think really we want to tag people either way. So this might get changed. I'm not sure. But now the last thing we need to do to actually be able to view these is go into our FeedPostCreatorImages and update some stuff. And then I guess we also need to be able to set up the ability to actually add them. So we need to go into our post slice and do a couple things. So hopefully we get to all of that. We're running a little bit short on time here, but we'll see. So now let's go ahead and go into our actual FeedPostCreatorImages that display each of these images. Now in here, these are obviously broken. So what we need to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and rename this one to our post images container. Whoops, const post images container, and this is going to be create image container, and here this is going to be create post. So we need to actually change this. So here we'll have our create post DTO is equal to use selector, and then here we'll have state colon root state like so, and then here we'll say state.post v2, and then here instead of post state we're going to go ahead and have our create post DTO and then dot images, and that's what we're going to watch here as well. So we're going to go ahead and watch our create post DTO dot images, and then here this one we're going to go ahead and make this one post GIF container. Let's go ahead and delete this. It'll be post GIF container like so, and then here instead of this we're going to go ahead and check to see if we have a post, so or a GIF, I'm sorry, create post DTO dot GIF. Whoops, GIF. If I could type question mark, if that's the case, we'll have a create post DTO dot GIF inside of our array. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and pass undefined. And then here we're going to go ahead and watch create post DTO dot GIF. So create post DTO dot GIF. Okay, so that's good to go. And now toggle description, I'm going to go ahead and say come back to this once we are working on edit, because this is another thing where we need to set up some stuff that we don't have set up yet, so that's fine. And now we just need to go ahead and update some stuff here. So instead of having post date and all this stuff, we're going to go ahead and have create post DTO dot images dot length are greater than 0. And we'll go ahead and say our post images container, and we're going to do the same thing here, except it'll be GIF. So here we'll say delete all of this, and this will be our create post DTO dot GIF is not equal to undefined. If that's the case, we'll go ahead and have our GIF post GIF container post GIF container. If you guys haven't realized yet, I'm literally just treating any old post like a reply or a post or whatever, it doesn't matter. Now I believe I go ahead and remove these lines here, but I don't think we need these. I removed the div FeedPostCreatorImage container odd. Yeah, so we end up removing this guy. We don't need that. And then display tag people will be our create post DTO. So create post DTO. That's fine. Whoops. And then I think that is everything here. So now the last thing that we need to go and do is actually make it so that whenever we click on some images, it actually goes into our new post state. So let's go ahead and go into our new post slice. And then in here, let's go ahead and go under our interface, updating the post state. And we're just going to say interface. And since we're updating multiple things, we're going to have to make a new one, update post images payload. And then here, we're going to go ahead and have images, and this will be a post image array. And we'll also have our GIF, and this will be a post image or undefined. Oops, not like that, or undefined. There we go. And let's go ahead and set up this quick reducer. This one is also very simple. So here we'll just go ahead and have our update post images, maybe like so. We'll have our state and our action, which will be payload action. And then here we'll have our update post images payload. And then here we're going to go ahead and return and state, comma, and then we're going to go ahead and have our images as action.payload images, and our GIF will equal to action.payload, payload.gif. So simple enough. We're just going to go and update those / replace them. Of update post images like that. And now what we need to go and do is actually make it so whenever we click on these, they do something. So now I don't know if we are going to have time to do all of this. Unfortunately, we'll see what happens here because there's actually a lot of work. Unfortunately, we might just set it up so that we can load in an image and then come back in the next episode and wrap it all up, because I think we're getting pretty long here. Let's see, we're right at about 30 minutes and we're getting close to when I need to go ahead and stop for the day. So let's just see what we get. Let's go ahead and hop into our CreatePostButton cluster and get to work on this. So in here, we need to go ahead and make the same changes that we were before. We still have our state here. I think we could end up changing this, but it's fine. But we're going to go ahead and say CreatePostDTO like we have been is equal to use selector. In here, we're going to go ahead and have our state root state like so, and this will be state.post v2. So now we have that. Now we can go ahead and we need to basically refactor our handle get images. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete all of this. It pains me to do this, but what can you do? And we'll probably refactor, disable GIF, determine full and all of that stuff in the next episode. We're going to go ahead and start out const images is a post image array, and this will be equal to an empty array. And then we're going to say let our GIF equal to a post image or undefined. We're going to check to see if we have a GIF first. So if our image selector ref and our image selector ref dot current, and we also need to go ahead and check e.target.files. So if we have everything that we need, we're going to say if our create post DTO images images.length plus our e.target.files.length maybe is greater than 4, or if our create post DTO .gif, so if we already have a GIF in here, then we'll go ahead and say image selector ref .current .value is equal to an empty string, and then we'll go ahead and return. We don't want to be able to do that. And then now we're going to go ahead and say let our GIF count equal to, and then here this will be 0. So right now, if we've already gone past this point, we don't have any GIFs inside of our create post DTO. We don't have any GIFs, so it's fine. We're also going to go ahead and say const reader is equal to a new file reader like so. And now we need to go ahead and loop through all the images that we have. Let I equal to 0. Unfortunately, you can't loop through this like dynamically or anything, so we have to set it up the old way. e.target.files.length. Okay, and then I plus plus. And here we're going to say const temp name is going to be equal to, we're going to use crypto dot, and then we're going to set up a random UUID. We're going to go ahead and grab a substring of that 0,12. This is just setting up a random name for us before we actually save them to our backend. We're going to go ahead and say let file is going to be equal to e.target, if I could type target.files of I. Okay, we have our files. Now, if our file is not equal to null, if that's the case, we're going to say const post image of a string is equal to await new promise, and we need to go ahead and load this in. So resolve, and then we need to take this file and turn it into our URL. So we're going to say reader dot on load equal to, go ahead and do this guy, and then here we're going to say resolve, and this is going to be reader.result.toString like so. And then now below this guy here, I believe, or actually, where do we want this? I believe we're going to do, I have an extra, oh, we need to check to make sure. That's why. So we're going to say if our reader.result, that's why I have an extra parenthesis here. It was throwing me off. So if our reader.result, we're going to go ahead and do this. And then below this guy, we're going to say reader.read, read as data URL. We're going to pass in that file. Okay, so that's not mad at us. So now we want to go ahead and go below where we have our post image. So if our GIF count is greater than or equal to 1, then we want to go and say image selector ref dot current dot value is equal to an empty string. So if we have like more than one GIF or something in here, we're going to go ahead and return. And then next we're going to say if our file question mark dot type is equal to image slash GIF. And I think maybe we should have changed this slightly because you can have an image and a GIF at the same time. So we might have something broken here. I don't know. We'll deal with that later if it pops up. But if our file type is image slash GIF, we're going to say GIF count plus plus. We're going to say our GIF is equal to image ID of 0. We're going to go ahead and have image name will be our temp name. We'll have our image type is, image slash GIF. And then we're going to go ahead and have image URL. URL is equal to post image. So now otherwise, we're going to go ahead and have images dot push. And then here, we're going to go ahead and say image ID will be 0 because we don't have an ID for it yet. We'll go ahead and say image type will be file dot type. We'll go ahead and have our image name will be temp name. And then finally, image URL will be post image again. So there's that. And now we need to go ahead and I need to figure out at the end of this right here, we're going to go ahead and say let, or actually image selector ref dot current dot and then value. Once again, we're going to clear this guy out. Otherwise we have some weird side effects. We're going to say let our updated images equal to create, maybe create post DTO the images, comma, our images. Go and break these apart. Now I'm together. And we want to go ahead and dispatch, maybe dispatch. And then here, update post images like so. And then we're going to go ahead and have our images as updated images. So this is empty. It is what it is. And then we'll have our GIF. Hopefully, and why is GIF mad at me? Oh, it's because I messed up. Make sure we do that. And then here, there should be an async. Probably mad about that. There we go. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff that can go wrong here. We're not going to deal with create determine full or disable or anything right now. Our on change we'll need to update a little bit later, and there's some other stuff that we need to deal with as well. I just want to see here. I don't think there's anything else in here that we need to worry about to be able to actually just click on the images and open them up and everything. So fingers crossed I don't need to debug everything because I'm at time for recording for the morning. So we'll come back through and we'll update our disable GIF, our display, and all of that stuff. But let's go into the front end and make sure nothing is broken. Okay, so that's a good start. I don't see anything scuffed here. We can't click on this. There it goes. It's just being a little bit slow. That's fine. I'm going to blur my screen for a second, or at least move stuff out of the way after I click on this. Okay, we're fine. Let me go ahead and go into some pictures here. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab a few images here. So let's just see if we can grab one. So we open it. You can see that looks fine. I don't know if we can click exit. Yes, it works. Terrific. Let's go and grab a couple of them now. Okay, I have a few. Open them. They look fine. This is all good. We can close out of them. Let me go ahead and find a GIF really quick to make sure that's looking okay. So here's a GIF. So our GIF didn't get styled. We're going to come back and we'll work on that in the next episode. I don't really have time, but everything is looking pretty good. If I did actually do that, I might have typoed something. So let me actually look at that really quick because I think we did do that. Because this would be right here, FeedPostCreator GIF. I think this is supposed to be FeedPostCreator image dash GIF. There we go. Looks much better. That looks how it's supposed to be. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. There is still a few more things we need to go ahead and finish up to get everything working with our GIFs and whatnot and our images, because right now these guys should be disabled. We shouldn't be able to add more, but it is what it is. So that being said, y'all, hope you do have a great day. If you did enjoy, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And if you do want to see where we start from absolute scratch to get point we are now, like over here or something, there's going to go ahead and be a playlist or a play card with a playlist in it. With that being said, y'all, hope you have a great day. This has been Ethan or Uncutter. I'll see you all in the next episode.